Hi, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful Friday, and I hope you have an even better weekend as it rolls around. I know for a lot of us, we've been getting a lot of rain and severe weather in places, so I hope it's uneventful for you this weekend. My latest autograph I wanted to talk to you about today, my latest historical autograph. So I've got the historical autograph series that I'm putting together, as well as the Atlanta Brave. I haven't forgotten about that. I just haven't purchased any new ones recently. So Edwin Hale Abbot is who I want to talk to you about today. Very interesting man. Learned quite a bit about him. Now, for anybody that have not seen these videos before, what I do just is kind of a neat little side project and a reward if I hit a certain goal, like in weight loss or just different things. I purchase another autograph, and I try to keep the costs low. So I purchase an autograph usually on eBay for between $10 and $15. And I get a frame, and then I get I get an image that's in the public domain and have it printed by Walmart or Walgreens, and I put together a little piece like what you see here. So I have about $35 or so in the whole thing, and I think it's a nice keepsake. So Edwin Hale Abbot was born in 1834, and he lived to 1927. He was a lawyer by profession who was educated at Harvard, and he would go on to represent the United States during the Civil War period, or directly after the Civil War, and that's where I kind of structure my autographs around, is that time period. He went on to represent the United States in litigation against Great Britain. I had no idea that Great Britain had been sued by the United States after the Civil War, and the reason they did sue them, in their estimation, was for aiding and abetting the Confederacy. Namely, the CSS Alabama ship was built in the shipyards of Great Britain and went on to sink more than 60 U.S. ships during the Civil War period. So hence the name of these claims went on to be known as the Alabama claims. Now, Great Britain was sued and I say sued, it was more or less the United States made several demands of Great Britain in an international court. Great Britain would go on to settle those claims for $15 million, which was a significant sum at the time. And of course, it's a significant sum now. I would love to see anywhere near that in my lifetime. So I was blown away by that history. This was a part of the Civil War that I knew nothing about, because I had always famously heard growing up is that other countries had wanted to aid the Confederacy, but were kind of too afraid to. At the time, the Prime Minister and the Minister over Foreign Relations with Great Britain were said to be very pro-Confederacy. And that was one of the main reasons that litigation was pursued against them, because those feelings were well known by the government of the United States, and they wanted to send a message. In 1873, Edwin would be named the president of the Wisconsin Central Railway, and he would hold that position until 1890. Now, the time with the Wisconsin Central Railway was pretty tumultuous. It was always in financial trouble. It actually declared bankruptcy in 1879. It was then leased out to the Northern Pacific Railroad, and it would eventually fold in the late 1890s. One of the things that had always been a great passion of Mr. Abbot were the arts, and in fact, towards the end of his life, in 1924, he was elected as an associate fellow at the Academy of Arts and Sciences in Cambridge, Massachusetts. This academy, extremely prestigious. In fact, it was founded in 1780 by many of our founding fathers, such as John Adams and John Hancock, just to name a few. Even his home, the Edwin Abbot House, built in 1889, a beautiful home, is now, in present day, a part of the Longy School of Music. So it was a great pleasure to get to know Edwin Abbot, a person I had never heard anything of before. He was a man of science. He was a man who appreciated the arts. He was well educated. He represented this country strongly in litigation and international court. Just a very impressive man. And the last thing I wanted to look at as we close out this video is the check itself. The autograph is actually on a check, and I wanted us to examine a couple neat things about that. So I thought it was extremely interesting that as you look at this check, that it has a stamp on it. It was literally sent in the mail. Can you imagine one of us putting a stamp on a check that would show our bank account number and just dropping that in the mail and thinking nothing of it? So this check was from 1879, July the 1st, 1879. It was, of course, signed by Mr. Abbott, and it was for $19. Now, if you're curious, how much was $19, 1879, adjusted for inflation, how much would that be today? Well, that would be right around $500 in today's money. And the last thing I wanted to talk about, the bank itself, the Blackstone National Bank. It was a bank in Boston, and is a bank that no longer exists. It was a bank like many others that actually printed their own money. You can find a lot of the currency from the National Bank of Blackstone, but it's another relic of history. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate it. This is one of those little passion projects I do, and I hope maybe you learned something about history that you didn't know. I'd love to hear your comments, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you very much. Have a good day.